because can't believe it. Can't believe it.
Andre the Giant's size.
Oh yeah, while I'm at it, I want to let you all know I'm doing these reaction videos for you because I know you like these, because I know you want to watch them. So here I am. Every video I make simply served on a platter by the YouTube algorithm because you want to watch it. So if you're here watching with me today, thank you. We're going to be talking about Andre the Giant, how amazing genetics made life impossible. As you can see, this behemoth right here was 7'4" and 520 pounds. A absolute unit, as some would say. I can't believe anyone could be this huge. They were definitely a giant, or I guess you could say proof that there were once giants roaming on this earth. Maybe. I know I saw a few TikToks trying to convince us that they were here. Maybe they were just individuals like this man here. Or maybe we did have giants on the planet who were like 15, 16 feet. Anyways, if you believe in giants, put that stuff below.
Gave him everything.
The largest and highest paid and best known wrestler in the entire world.
Once being listed by the Guinness Book of Records as the highest paid wrestler ever.
What did they say? What did they say here? The Guinness World Records book, but not for what you think. He wasn't the tallest or biggest pro wrestler, but the highest paid wrestler in the world, with documented earnings of over $400,000 in 1970.
These same genetics, however, made his life a living hell, with Andre famously stating, "I would give much money to be able to spend one day per week as a man of regular size."
Yeah, because he would have a thing. If he was 7'4", 520 pounds, this guy probably had trouble just going anywhere. Because the average person's like 5 foot. What is it? The average height is 5'7". So this man is like 7 foot. I bet everything, like getting in cars. They're small. This plane right here, he just has to rent out 2 seats, sit in the very front because his legs are too long. The seats are too small right here. Oh my goodness. I bet he would want to spend a day in our time. Especially like buying clothes is probably hard. Everything has to be tailor-made. Shoes special ordered. Oh my goodness. And I bet he get hungry too a lot just being that big. Not saying that he's big, but you know what I'm saying, just being like that large, your body's probably like constantly burning, man.
Much money to be able to spend one day per week as a man of regular size. When he was born, Andre already weighed 13 pounds or 6 whole kilos, which is almost...
I can't get past this, man. 13 pounds. This man was born 13 pounds at birth. Huge, man. Huge. That's like, he's like a toddler almost, man. Let me look this up. Let me look this up on the sidelines real quick. Average weight of a toddler. So a toddler, a 2-year-old, typically weighs, for girls, 26.5 and boys, 27.5 pounds. So you're telling me at birth, this man is already half the size of a toddler, or at least half the weight, if not the size. He has to have giants in his family line. He has to. Like, what the heck? What is this nonsense?
Double the average male baby, weighing 3.3 kilos or 7.5 pounds. Growing up, Andre played soccer, with his childhood friends stating he used to be the goalie, but the ball would never go in because he was so big. By the age of 12, Andre was 6'3", and
think about that. If they're in elementary school and they're playing soccer and he's standing there, he at least had to be like, you have to think like kids. Let's see. I have to figure this out. Average height. Let's say like a 6-year-old. Yeah, about 3.5 feet. If he was 6 foot, I would say if he's 6'3" at the age of 12, he was probably at half that age. He's probably at least a good 5 foot. Yeah, this guy was enormous. He was probably just like, he was probably just towering over anybody. Let's see, Andre the Giant height as a kid. So he's 6'3" when he was a 12-year-old. He was 6'3", 200 pounds. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, dude, he had to be a good like 5 foot something, man. There's no way. When did this man retire? Anyway, let's keep going.
And 240 pounds or 108 kilos.
As I started going to school, I was bigger than all the kids.
He was too big to fit on the local school bus, and his family didn't have the money to buy a car that could deal with his weight. As a result, Andre left school to work on a farm, where one day a friend of the farm's owner drove slowly past the field in a Rolls Royce.
So you're telling me it got to the point where he was too large to ride the bus to school, and his parents couldn't take him, so he left to go work on a farm. He couldn't just walk to school? I mean, I guess if he's that big, I mean, they might as well say, hey, let's put this man to work. This is a grown-ass man at this point. Hey, that's crazy, though. I wonder how bad it was. Like, was he just like 12 and he's just like, you know what? Like, I can't go to school now. Well, guess I'm gonna go to work. I got my what? You're like 12. I was about to go into like 6th grade maybe. He's like, I don't need middle school. He just stopped after like 5th grade. He has like the basics, right? He knows how to read, write, do basic arithmetic, basic mathematics. He just stopped going because he couldn't ride the bus to school no more, and his parents couldn't take him. They just put him to work. But it's just crazy. So they're saying he could do the let me run this back. So he could do the work of a man. One day, a friend of the farm's owner drove slowly past the field in a Rolls Royce. I will own such a car as that someday, the tall boy said quietly as he paused to watch the elegant machine glide by. All right, let me go back. Oh, he was okay.
Could deal with his weight. As a result, Andre left school to work on a farm, where one day a friend of the farm's owner drove slowly past the field in a Rolls Royce. I will own such a car as that someday, Andre said quietly. Stop dreaming and start raking, his father replied. You are a big boy, but that dream is too big even for you.
Dang, that's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. Let me do this. Imagine you're sitting here. Your parents then made you stop going to school because you're too dang big. Can't ride a bus no more. And they can't drive you. And here you are talking about, hey man, I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna get me a nice Rolls Royce. They tell you, nah, boy, that's way too big for you. You're like, what? What? Why are you trying to crush his dream like that? They just mad they ain't as big as him. I guess what did he go do? He became the richest wrestler, and I mean that's kind of just like acting, right? Like just strongman. That's what I feel about WWE. It's just like a bunch of like acting.
I said to my dad, someday I go get a car like this. And he said, quit dreaming and keep walking.
According to his brother, Andre did the farm work of 3 different men and would drive an unregistered car as the cops wouldn't dare to stop him. When he tried
He did the work of 3 men. Hold on, let me run this back. They said he's doing the work of 3 men and drove a car unregistered because the police wouldn't stop him. They're afraid of this man. Where is Andre the Giant from? I need to figure this out. I can't just... Oh, he's from France. Okay. They probably said this somewhere in the video. He's from France. Oh, that's cool.
Tried to join the military.
Andre was deemed unfit for service as there were no shoes big enough, bunks long enough, or trenches deep enough to accommodate him.
Yet these same issues made him arrested.
He tried to join the army, but they said, no, you're not fit. You're too dang big, boy. Too dang big, boy. Can't hide no dang trench. Can't sleep in no dang bunk. You can't wear a uniform. Get out of here. You are not fit for us. Though, if they actually kept... imagine if they did keep him. They tailored everything for him, gave him his own bunk. They made a bunk especially for him. Didn't let him go in the trenches. If people come, he just knocking folk out, bro. This guy's huge, man. All these guys are so small. You could probably pick every one of them up and just throw them. It's the real life juggernaut.
Wrestling sensation. He'd officially become Andre the Giant, a famous televised wrestler, but more notably had grown so much, his own parents didn't recognize him when he came back home.
My parents, they was a big fan of me, they saw me on TV, but they don't know.
Your parents were a fan and they didn't know it was you.
No, because I changed my name.
At over 7 foot tall and 500 pounds or 227 kilos.
Hold on. His own family didn't recognize him at all. Okay, so he changed. Okay, that's because he changed his name. So changing his name and I guess continuing to grow. So if he was, I wonder how old he was when he left home. Because if he was 6 foot, let me see. If he was a good 6'3" at 12, okay. Yeah, I would probably need... Oh, so he entered the wrestling world at 18. Okay. He probably left home at like 16 or something. Because if he was Andre the Giant at 18, he had to leave. If his parents didn't recognize him, he had to be gone for like a good, like, at least like, either for like good like 2 years or more. Depending on... That'd be interesting to see. When did this guy go to the military? Okay, so it says Rusumov was an average student, though good at mathematics. When he was 14, Rusumov decided against further schooling and joined the workforce, believing that what he had learned was sufficient for a career as a farmhand. He did not drop out of school as compulsory education laws in France were no longer applicable to those aged 14 or older. Okay, so he didn't have to go to school anymore. So he spent years working on his father's farm in Moulin, where, according to his brother Jacques, okay, yeah, they just said that. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so the age 18, he moved to Paris who was taught professional wrestling by a local promoter. So I guess for 4 years he worked with his dad, and then when he turned 18, he became a wrestler. I wonder how long he wrestled before his family just didn't know who he was. Okay, hold on, there we go. He was billed as Giant Fere, a name based on, okay, the Grand, okay, so 1966. I'm trying to get a timeline here. I need to know this. He grew up in the 50s. So he was born when, okay, his debut was 1966. Oh yeah, because he was 14. Yep, there we go. Okay. Oh, here we go. 1960. Actually, it was right here. 1964 is when he began. In 1966, he began, I guess, as Andre the Giant. Okay, so he changed his name 2 years. Okay, so he was a wrestler for 2 years, and then he changes. Okay, so I guess 2 years after he joined, he changed his name. That makes sense. Or maybe it was in the 70s. No. Okay, the Giant. Oh yeah, Giant. Yep. So 1960, yeah, 2 years after he became a wrestler, he changed his name pretty much to the Giant. Something the Giant.
Recognize him when he came back home.
My parents, they was a big fan of me, you know, they saw me on TV, but they don't know.
Your parents were a fan and they didn't know it was you.
No, because I changed my name.
At over 7 foot tall and 500 pounds or 227 kilos, Andre saw a doctor to figure out why he'd grown so much. Acromegaly was the diagnosis, a rare 1 in 12,000 brain tumor causing the body to produce excessive growth hormone. It leads
Oh man, he had a brain tumor that was doing this too.
to extra large hands, feet and fingers, as well as a bigger jaw, nose, lips and tongue. According to Ripley's Believe It or Not, his fingers were so big around that the ring he wore had an opening that could easily fit a silver dollar, which is 38.1 mil. To put the size into...
He had a ring he wore that had been that is huge. Oh my gosh. I can't believe a brain tumor can do that to you. I didn't even know that was possible. Man, no wonder why he would pay to spend like day as a normal person, because like imagine like your hands. Ooh, I bet it was just difficult to like do like hold things, just do basic tasks around the house, just because your hands being that large.
Perspective, the average man's finger is around 10 to 11 mil around. This could be seen in interviews like this.
This is his ring, and I kid you not, I can get all 3 fingers in that ring.
With people on Reddit adding, favorite fact is that Andre was so large, he could push a hard-boiled egg through his wedding ring. My wife met him once and instead of a handshake, she said she could only shake one of his fingers. These elements made him so unique that when doctors offered to remove his tumor, Andre bluntly refused.
He decided that he didn't want treatment at that time because he thought it would interfere with his career as a wrestler.
It stated, if this is the size that God wanted me to be, I'm going to be this size.
I use what God gave me. I'm not supernatural, I just myself. So what God gave me, I use it to make a living.
However, this gave him a short life expectancy.
The commissioned doctors at Madison Square Garden told me.
I wonder what would like, I know it's probably, well, obviously it's killed him. Well, it's going to kill him. But I wonder what would happen if they removed it. Like, would he... he wouldn't reduce, like... He wouldn't... Obviously, he wouldn't shrink. Would he? Well, I guess he would. That'd be... I don't know. Would he get smaller? Or would he, like, lose muscle mass, I guess? Just because... He's no longer, like... His brain's no longer, I guess, producing the hormone or whatever that is, causing him to like grow that big, or is the damage already done? I'll probably answer.
He's going to be lucky to live to be 40.
And meant he'd keep on growing until the day he'd die. By the time he'd joined the WWE, Andre had reached 7'4", peaking at 560 pounds or 225 kilos.
What size boot is that, Andre?
It's 22, size 22.
A size 22 shoe. Holy, your boy here were a 13. That right there. That's a good 9. What is that? A good 9 sizes ahead of me right there, boy.
Take a look at that along my size 9.
This made him the most successful wrestler ever.
Without a doubt, Andre was the most famous wrestler in the world.
Yet it also continued to make his life harder.
It's difficult everywhere I go. They don't build anything for big people. They build everything for blind people, for crippled people, for some other people, but not for big people.
Andre was constantly visiting new cities.
The nature of your job, you're traveling all the time, aren't you? Like 320 nights a year.
Yes.
Which came with its own set of challenges.
Hotel beds, are they a problem?
I tried to find a hotel where they got a king-size bed. There was, when I go in Japan, all those cars so small.
Sure.
Even in a hotel, I can go through the door, I can go to the bathroom, everything is so small.
Andre was too large to fit inside most cars.
When I'm traveling with a car, I need 2 cars.
That's right. You can't even get in it.
There's nowhere for the giant to live anymore.
Yes, that's true. Well, you can put 1 car in each foot.
Taking a taxi wasn't a better alternative.
Funny story, one time.
What? Hold on, let me run.
Well, you can put 1 car in each foot.
Taking a taxi wasn't.
Imagine you're driving to work and you see this guy right here just sitting here, just all the way out the car. Looks like he is some cartoon character. Just boop.
A better alternative.
Funny story, one time we couldn't get a taxi because he was so big.
And when they finally got one, Andre was charged extra.
I ask him how much he is, and we see the counter, he charges double. So you're a big guy, you have to pay double.
It seems that flying was Andre's only option, where he'd have to book the entire exit row. However, thankfully, he was able to fix this problem.
What about plane travel? Does that get old after a while? Awful?
I go in first class, but I don't drink mine with it.
Despite this costing an absolute fortune,
I'm traveling so much. Last year I bought for $67,000 just an airplane ticket.
there was still another even bigger flying problem. Andre couldn't fit inside the toilet. He therefore had to relieve himself prior to boarding.
Andre would always time it so that he would take a dump before, he went to the airport.
But in one notable instance, he forgot to go beforehand.
He's up in first class and he tells them, I gotta go. And they're like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
The onboard solution wasn't exactly glamorous.
He would relieve himself into a bucket and then they bring it in and dump it into the toilet.
But in retrospect, the story's pretty funny.
Smell.
He's that. It can't be like that. I mean, it probably is. I just know nowadays, if he were around, he'd have a whole TV show. Whole reality TV show. They probably missed out on that one. They'd be like, all right, we got to get this money in. Content. Ooh, wee. But that was a big ass. Oh, I bet that was a big ass shit too. Ooh, wee. I'd hate to have been on the plane on that one, boy.
It started coming out. There was people falling out of their seats almost into the aisles, puking, crying, screaming.
Sadly, this didn't only apply to planes.
Where does he shit?
In the bathtub.
No.
Yeah. There's no toilet gonna take his ass.
And with monumental bells came monumental farts.
It sounded like, like a deep roar, kind of like thing.
Bruh, y'all, the man it's no longer with us. Y'all don't have to do him like this, y'all. Y'all over here like when he farted, it sounded like a roar, like a rumble. Like, come on now, do this, man.
It would rumble.
On the set of Princess Bride, this actually halted production.
He lets out the most monumental fart. The whole plywood set was shaking, and the sound guy lifted his headphones off his ears and was doing that, and it went on for, somebody timed it was 16 seconds.
While Andre's former wrestling opponents thought
a 16-second fart. You're shitting me.
the wind lasted even longer.
And I could feel my fucking shoulder just vibrate like. You know how long a giant can fart? How long? About 40 seconds.
Andre was so different to everybody else, it got to the point of public ridicule. Hulk Hogan explained when we'd walk through the airports, if he got ahead of me, I'd hear all the unkind things that people would say. Oh my God, look at that guy. It would just break my heart.
They perceived him as a freak of nature, and that hurt Andre more than anything. This guy was very sensitive. Boss, sometimes they laugh at me, they point at me. It hurts my feelings. You never think a guy like that would cry, but he would cry.
Andre stated in an interview, I would give much money to be able to spend 1 day per week as a man of regular size.
Man, y'all made fun of Andre the Giant. Y'all should be ashamed of y'all. That's all I gotta say. It is fucked.
would shop and I would go to the cinema, and drive around in a sports car and walk down Fifth Avenue and stare at the other people for a change. Disguising himself in public simply wasn't possible.
Muhammad Ali could put on a trench coat and a ball cap. Andre the Giant couldn't hide in the backseat of a car.
Instead opting to numb himself completely.
He never, ever, ever quit drinking. He drank from the time he got up to the time he went to bed. If he could figure out a way, he'd just done it in his sleep.
While Andre's drinking feats are often highly romanticized, there's no denying he had a serious problem.
He started drinking about 9 o'clock in the morning. He drank like, I'm not exaggerating, like 20 bottles of new Beaujolais.
Doing so to cope with his difficult life.
He drank because he was in pain. His spine and his neck and his knees gave him a lot of trouble.
He drinks 6 bottles of wine before every wrestling match, with Jake the Snake explaining that Andre once drank 48 beers in a single car trip.
He drank
46 beers? 48 beers in a single
2 cases of beer and did not have to piss. How can you do that?
This was nothing compared to a different night.
Is it true that you in one sitting drank 117 beers?
Yes.
Were you drunk at the end of that?
117 beers? How this man put them away? Well, I mean, 117 beers?
I don't remember. I think I passed out.
With Andre's unofficial record being 156 beers in one sitting, which fellow wrestlers Dusty Rhodes and Michael Hayes confirmed. However, this only added extra weight onto his body.
I myself saw him almost every night drink 7,000 calories worth of alcohol,
which seemed to be the primary motive for why he eventually quit.
But you don't drink anymore?
Not since 14 months ago I quit.
You feel better for not drinking?
Yeah, because when I was drinking beer, I used to weigh 560 pounds.
And you've trimmed down now to?
Right now, I'm 470.
This led to the infamous Andre the Giant vs. Hulk Hogan, after which his career was basically over. When he next came to a match, Andre was using crutches, showing the decline of his physical health. He'd retired to a ranch in North.
Ooh, this man, his knees look bad. Ooh. Being that big probably does definitely, yeah. He has this right here. He has a lot of weight there, so these knees is doing bad. His feet are probably not doing too good.
North Carolina until he flew back to France for his father's funeral. He'd take this photo after the ceremony without realizing that 3 days later, Andre himself would die of a heart attack.
I'd like to announce the death of one of my favorite wrestlers and one of the most famous wrestlers of all time. He died this week in Paris, France, after going home to his father's funeral.
His body was too large to fit in any French crematorium, and as a result he was shipped back to the USA. His ashes weighed 17 pounds or almost 8 kilos, being just another reason he's remembered as a legend.
I'm shook on this one, y'all. I'm sorry. This is a big man. That's a huge man. He is born 13 pounds. His ashes is dang near 17. Let me go back here. Let me go back to the part where he was talking about the beers.
However, this only added extra weight onto his body.
I myself saw him almost every night drink 7,000 calories worth of alcohol,
which seemed to be the primary motive for why he eventually quit.
But you don't drink anymore?
Not since 14 months ago I quit.
You feel better for not drinking?
Yeah, because when I was drinking beer, I used to...
Which fellow wrestler...
Now, let me move this. Let me see. 156 beers in one sitting. Now that that drinking right there, I feel like they probably did a huge number of them. But it just sucks that people were just mean to him like that. I understand that was probably part of the appeal and why they wanted him in wrestling. He's a unique fella that most definitely would bring individuals in to watch him who like to see, people fight. They'd be like, "Oh, that guy's wild looking. Let me go watch him fight." And I just think that's not nice. But I feel like that's probably why, he worked for WWE. It's definitely why, so I feel like my man would do something like that. But it's just crazy. It's wild that he had a tumor that caused him to be that large. And a part of me wonders if he had the tumor from birth, and if that contributed to him being that large when when he was born. Like if he was just had the tumor in the brain, he was born with it, which you know or I guess it was causing him to grow that large when he was a baby, and then he was born being like 13 pounds, and then just continued to just grow with it. You would think that a doctor or something somewhere would figure that out, but if his family were farmhands, then they, you know, they didn't have money to, if they didn't have money to have it like drive him to school, uh, they probably didn't. The doctor they probably went to, or they probably didn't even go to a doctor. He was born, probably just had him at home or something, or the hospital or the doctors they had wherever he lived like probably weren't as fancy as they are, say, nowadays, or in the city, potentially, or probably in America then even. But technology just changed, so but they probably weren't looking for that at all. They probably were like, yeah, they were like, it's a big old boy right there, yes sir. It's a biggin. That's probably what they were saying. So I don't know. I don't think. I wonder if they would have found it earlier, if he would have been. Oh, I wonder if he would have gotten it removed, if he would have still had the heart attack, or if that contributed to the heart. Because they did say the tumor was going to shorten his lifespan, but they never really specified how. But you could come to the conclusion that him being that large would put a strain on his heart, and him potentially, mourning his dad could have caused an issue with all the previous, you know, drinking and whatnot. I didn't think that was how it was gonna go. I thought it was gonna be like, I didn't think he was gonna pass that young. I thought he was gonna be like a little bit older. You know what I'm saying? Like, be an older man, be like, oh yeah, he got into about like his 60s, and but he got looked it up. It was like 46, man. Fortunate. Well, that's all I got for this video. F's in chat for our man Andre the Giant. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment. I will see you guys with the next video.